Hello, I'm Cheryl Ponchin. Welcome back to the TUG 2020 Beginner's LaTeX Workshop. In this lesson, I'm going to do References Part 2 and show you how to use Bibtex. So the advantage of using Bibtex is that you're going to create your bibliography entries in sort of a database type file. It's going to have an extension .bib added. And all your entries will be in these one bib file or many bib files, which you can incorporate into your document. The difference between the bibliography and the bibliography and using bib item is you're basically just using those references in that specific paper. And with the Bibtex, you can use it over multiple documents. So that is one huge advantage. Also, in Bibtex, the fields that you'll fill in will automatically do the correct fonts, such as article will have an italicized title. So if you want to do that in bib item, you have to actually remember which titles get italicized and which do not. So that is another advantage for Bibtex. Both of them use \cite. So you have your label name, which is your bib item label name or your label name in Bibtex, and you cite it using that same label name inside the braces. If you don't want your reference to show up in your text of your document, however, you want it in your reference list, then you would do a \nocite with the label name, and it will show up in your reference list, but it will not show up in your actual document text. So you'll be adding files that create these entries. So I'm going to show you. I've created a miscellaneous.bib file. And in this miscellaneous.bib file, I have an @miscellaneous, an open brace, and a close brace. Just like everything else in LaTeX, you have a begin and an end. So in this, we have fields. So I have field author equals. In this instance, I have quotes and a comma. A comma ends each field. A new field is started with an equal sign, and a comma ends the field. So in this example, I'm using quote marks. And I'm going to show you another example with braces. It doesn't matter which you use, as long as you start one and end one. Another thing to remember is that in the title, only the first letter of the first word is initial capped and everything else is lowercase. So if you need something to be uppercase, you need to put it in a second set of braces. Now, even if you use braces instead of quotes, you still have to use the braces around the capital words, or else it won't show up properly. So what I'm going to also show you is, this is the same entry that I just showed you. You're going to have a bibliography style mentioned. I'm going to start with plain, and then I'm going to show you the other style files that I discussed in the overview. And then the second line is bibliography. And in this set of braces is the file that you're adding. It does have a .bib extension. However, you don't need to add .bib extension here. It knows, because it's in this bibliography line, that the .bib is added to it. Now, you have all of this in your file, and what you need to do is process it. So what you're going to do is you're going to PDF LaTeX your file, then you're going to Bibtex your file, and then you're going to have to PDF LaTeX it twice more. I'll explain. So you're going to PDF LaTeX your file, and it's going to see that you have the \cite in your paper. It's going to produce brackets with a question mark. Then you're going to Bibtex your file. This is actually going to run to show that you were going to get your miscellaneous.bib or whatever file you have in there, and it's going to find the entry that you cited in your paper or no cited. Then you will PDF LaTeX your file again, and you will still get the question mark, because just like when we did our table of contents, it finds it and then it has to produce it. So the first time it finds it, the second PDF LaTeX, it produces it. And that's for your viewing. So I have over here bibliography style plain, and I'm going to add my cite right here. So I am going to update my file, and I'm going to PDF LaTeX my file. And the output is showing a question mark because it found a cite, did not know what to do with it. Now I'm going to Bibtex the file, And down here in the log file, you'll see that it's actually processing my miscellaneous.bib. It's adding it to the database. Now I'm going to PDF LaTeX my file again. And I will show you my output. I still have a question mark because it knows that I have it now, but it didn't place it. So I'm going to PDF LaTeX it again. And now it placed it. And if you look, I have a reference now. So now I want to add another one. So I have added an articles.bib. So I did something different here is I added a string. So let's say you have authors and their names are difficult to spell. And some might have a middle initial, some might not. So you can actually make it a string. So now you're referencing this string and equals. And in these set of braces is what your output will look like. So now I have at article, my open brace, my close brace. I have my author equals. You notice I don't have any quotes or braces around here. And I used braces in this instance instead of quotes to show you the difference. Because everything in the brace or the quotes is literal. And you don't want C. Ponchin to be literal. You want it to come out as Cheryl Ponchin. So it knows that if it has something here without any of the quotes, it's going to find the string name and it's going to put it in. So now what we want to do is we want to put it in our file. So I'm going to now add my reference. Which is site Ponchin 1, which is what I labeled it. But now it's not going to find it unless I actually put that bibliography in here. So I'm adding my articles. Oh, this should be a comma. Okay, now I'm going to update my file and PDF LaTeX my file because I've altered my file. And I will show you the output. And the output has another question mark for this new reference. So now I have to Bibtex my file, go through the same procedure. And I will have to PDF LaTeX my file. And of course, there it is. It showed up here, but I need to PDF LaTeX it again and show you my output to give it the number. So now you have two different references. So now I'm going to show you to change the style files. So I'm going to comment out this style file, and I'm going to change it to the alpha style file. So I will update my file and PDF LaTeX it. And I will Bibtex it. And I will PDF LaTeX it twice. And you notice now, my references look a little bit different. So if you have more than one author, it will give you the first initial of each last name and the year. If you only have one author, it will give you the first three letters of the name and the year. So now I'm going to, the unsort actually is going to basically come out the same as our plain. It will sort it differently if you have many files, but it's going to put it back with the numerals. So now I'm going to show you the abbreviation. I will change my file. I will Bibtex my file. And I will PDF LaTeX my file twice. And now you'll see, no matter, even though I put my first name in, what's going to happen is it's going to show up as my first initial because we asked it to do the abbreviation. So that's basically how you do Bibtex. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope to see you in our next lesson.